So go ahead and grab that strap and have it nearby, and go ahead and come on to your backs. Maybe just bend the knees and set the feet right underneath the knees. And we're just gonna ground here for a few breaths. Just settling, feeling all that turkey and mashed potatoes just settle to the mat. Let's go ahead and feel heavy. And relax the core muscles. And just begin some deep breaths in through the nose. And either exhaling through the mouth or also through the nose. And taking one hand to the low belly and one hand to the heart space. Just giving yourself a chance to breathe. And then perhaps taking both hands to the heart space. And just maybe creating a nice intention for your practice this morning. And sending energy out, healing energy out to the rest of the world, to friends and family, perhaps to yourself. And then take your hands alongside of your hips and press down through the palms, the forearms, the upper arms. And we're just going to do a couple of breathing bridges here to start out with. So on your next inhale, just begin to lift the hips up, maybe just a few inches, and then reach the arms up overhead. And then on your exhale, you're going to lower both the hands back to your hips and the hips down to the mat. So on your next inhale, lift everything up, maybe a little higher this time, and then exhale, lower. So here, just moving with your breath, inhale, lifting, and exhale, lowering. Remembering that the slower you move here, the more the core is engaged. Two more times. Preferably inhaling as you lift the hips, opening the arms overhead, and exhale when you lower. Perfect. All right, go ahead and grab a hold of that strap. And let's all start with that right foot. So we'll set the strap in our right foot. And then pay attention to your hands here for just a minute. We do tend to overgrip the strap. And what we want to do is we want to remember that part of this leg work is actually the core lifting that leg up. So lighten your grip as much as you possibly can. Draw your toes towards you And we're going to slide that left leg straight onto the mat. Flex that left ankle as if you were standing on that left leg. So your legs are something close to an L shape. And just give you a little stretch into the hamstring. And then we're going to gather that strap into our right hand and ground your left hip to the mat. And you're just going to very gently ease this leg out open to the side. So this is another pro to being virtual. We have 11 people in the studio right now, and our feet are not touching anybody. So make sure you have as much space as you need, grounding through both hips, just getting that nice hip opening. Lighten the grip. Make sure you're not just pulling on that strap too much. And then lift that leg back up towards the ceiling. Great. And then switch the straps into your left hand. So now it's very important to get into this IT band that we take our right hand and we anchor this right hip to the mat. Just cross the midline, maybe 30, 40 degrees. Oh yeah. This stretch should feel quite different than what we just did with that open hip. Cross this IT band, keeping that right hip anchored to the mat. One more breath here. And then very carefully, we're just going to let this right hip come up. We're just going to let that left leg cross all the way over. And if you want, you can extend that right arm open and look over that right shoulder. So we're just getting that nice full twist. Now, if possible, inch your hand on the strap a little closer towards the foot. And just kind of let this position kind of lock in. So a little bit of muscle memory. All the way to this left foot that's flexing. So it's just kind of a little spoiler alert to what's happening later on in our practice. And then very carefully coming back to the center, go ahead and release the foot from the strap. And we'll hug both knees into the chest and just a little rock here, side to side. You can draw your forehead up towards your knees. And then we'll switch sides. So taking the strap into our left foot, and then extending the foot up towards the ceiling, loosening the grip. So I know a lot of us in the studio like to do all this double wrapping. Much, much better for us just to have a very light grip. Let the core do some of the work here. Draw your toes down towards you, and then straighten that right leg onto the mat. So you want a nice engagement through both legs. So it's like you are drawing the heels longer. The right heel out in front of you, the left heel towards the ceiling. And then gather the strap into your left hand, anchor that right hip, let that left leg ease open to the side. And we'll gently bring that leg back up. Switch the straps into the right hand. Anchor that left hip. So this is the really tricky part. I normally walk through the studio and kind of make sure everyone's kind of keeping that left hip anchored to get that ideal stretch into that IT band. Doesn't take a whole lot. You're just crossing the midline, perhaps 30, 40 degrees. This is not our full twist yet. Notice how this stretch feels quite different than most of the other stretches we do. And then go ahead and let that left hip roll up as your leg crosses your body into a full twist. Try to stay grounded through the shoulders. You can look over this left arm and shoulder. Breathe here through the side waist. You can inch your right hand towards your foot a little closer. Keep reaching through both heels. So it's very easy to forget about this straight bottom leg on the right side. So really flex that ankle as if you're standing on it. And then very slowly you'll return leg to the ceiling and release the strap. Hug both knees into the chest. Maybe a little rock here, side to side. All righty. Just to get a little bit more twisting in, we're going to take our feet down to the mat, maybe your arms out to a T. And then just begin to windshield wipe your knees from side to side. You choose the speed here. We just want to get just a little bit of twisting in. Releasing that low back. All righty. And then we're going to take the strap one more time. We're going to take both feet into the strap and reach the feet up towards the ceiling. All right, so look at your arms, look at your wrists. Make sure that everything's just kind of in a nice long straight line, legs and arms. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to start to rock here. So straight legs, straight arms, and just begin to rock. You can use your breath, that sometimes helps. And then see if you can just kind of come on up to this supported boat pose. So arms are nice and long. Legs are in the strap, lengthen the neck. Just hold this boat pose. Okay, now this is a bit tricky, but I'm noticing that I'm really holding on for dear life onto the strap. They're talking about not over gripping and using our core. So we're just going to slowly flip the strap off of our feet, come into a full boat pose. You got it. Good work. All right, slowly with control, we'll bring those feet down to the mat. Lift up with the arms, drop the knees open, and fold forward. So getting into the hips here. Make this just very yin. So just a very relaxed energy, just letting the head and the shoulders be heavy. Try not to bounce or pull yourself in any closer. Just kind of letting gravity do its thing here. Use your breath. Just hanging out here for just a little bit longer. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and walk yourself up. And we're going to just take your right leg forward. Keep your left foot bent right here with the foot in at the thigh. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale, hinge and fold forward. Maybe draw the toes towards you, drawing the chest a little closer to that thigh. On your next inhale, come on up about halfway. So you want to create some space in the torso, and then exhale, fold down. And just for a moment here, notice what you're feeling in your body. You may be feeling all hamstrings on the back of this right leg, or perhaps you're feeling that opening in the hip on the left side. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and reach all the way up. Bring the palms together, exhale, hands to the heart space. Nice. Okay, we're going to take a hold of this left knee, hug it into your chest here. If you want, you can kind of wiggle it around in a circle, and then set that left foot on the outside of that right knee. Now flex your right foot, and on your inhale, you could reach your right arm up and then twist to your left. So you want to really squeeze those legs to the midline. You want to root up through the sitting bones, keeping that torso nice and tall. And then you want to just lighten this left hand. Couple breaths here. And take a nice full inhale. And exhale, return back to the front. We'll switch our legs out. Left leg long, right knee bends, foot comes right into that inner thigh. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge and fold forward. On your next inhale, just a half lift, just to create some space. And exhale, fold again. Your chest is reaching towards the thigh. Reach through that left heel, through the crown of the head. And again, maybe just a little bit of acknowledgement of what's going on in the body. So are you feeling this in the hamstrings or the hip, or both? And inhale, reach the arms back up overhead. Exhale, hands come to the heart space. Go ahead and grab a hold of this right knee, hug it into your chest. So I always find that this is tricky to sit up nice and tall. And then just go ahead and maybe just rotate that hip in its socket. And then set the right foot, on the outside of the left knee. So squeezing the legs to the midline, reach the left arm up high to the sky, and then twist to your right. Looking over that right shoulder. Stay really light through this right hand. I know it's just so tempting to lean back and hang out, but we want to use the core muscles. We want to find that spiral twist. Couple more breaths here. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale, coming forward. All right, both legs out in front of us, flex at the ankles. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling, and on your exhale, lead with your chest. Intense west-facing stretch. So you really should feel this hinge at the hips. And again, maybe notice where you're feeling the stretch. If you're feeling this too much in the back, then come on up just a little bit further, a little higher. Keep reaching through the heels. And then inhale, arms reach up overhead. And exhale, hands come on down to the heart space. All righty. Let's take our feet back and come on to hands and knees here. And we'll move through our favorite cat and cow. Inhale, lift the heart, drop the belly, and exhale, round. Inhale, coming up, cow pose. Exhale, rounding, cat pose. And just moving with your breath. One more round. And then settling your hips back towards your heels for child's pose. Draw the forehead down towards the mat. Tune into your breath. And on your next inhale, come on up to hands and knees. We'll step this right foot forward and begin to come into a nice kind of lunge here, opening the hips. And inhale, reach the arms up overhead. And on our exhale here, we're going to twist right. So look over that right shoulder, and your left hand can come to the right knee for a little bit of leverage. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Step back, hands and knees, and then we'll switch sides. Left foot steps forward. Take the hips forward. Get into this front of the left or the right hamstring and the hip flexor. Reach up. And then twist to your left. Looking over that left shoulder. Notice that your hips, your knees are all facing forward. But this twist is happening from the spine, from the navel on up through the crown of the head. Spiral twist. Inhale, reach up. And exhale. Go ahead and take the hands down to the mat. Step back, hands and knees. And we'll tuck our toes under. We'll find our first downward facing dog. And perhaps you want to just take the dog for a little walk here, bending one knee, straightening the other. And since it's a little bit cold outside today, even though we're not outside, but we see those flurries, let's go ahead and warm up here a bit more with the vinyasa. Inhale, raise up onto your toes, and exhale, wave out to plank. You can drop the knees for a low plank if you'd like. Slowly lower chaturanga. Come all the way down to the mat. And on your next inhale, uncurl those toes, press the tops of the feet to the mat, lift the heart for cobra. Exhale, lowering back down, tuck those toes under, back to downward facing dog. Root the hips back, press away with the bases of all 10 fingers. Give yourself a little micro bend into those knees. Lift up onto the toes. Exhale, roll out to plank. Slowly lower, chaturanga. Inhale, curl up into your cobra. And exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here in your down dog. Evening your breath out. And then one more time, raise up onto the toes. Wave out to plank. Extend through the crown of the head as you lower chaturanga. Inhale, perhaps an up dog or a cobra. And back to downward facing dog. From here, let's take that right leg up nice and high, three-legged dog. And then we're going to step this right foot through, set the right foot as close to that right hand as possible. And we're going to rise up to warrior one. So I promised us lots of twists this morning. We're going to exhale, twist to the right. So you're looking over that right shoulder, left hand can come down to the knee, or you can keep the arms out to a T. Whatever works for you, right or wrong. Again, your hips and your knees are facing forward. This twist is from the navel on up. One more breath here. And inhale, reach up, warrior one. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Optional vinyasa. You can come just down dog, or you can just move with your breath through a vinyasa. And then we'll work on the other side. Left leg reaches up, three-legged dog. Step the left foot forward. Root up, warrior one. Take a nice deep inhale. And on the exhale, you twist to the left. And one reason this right hand can come to the knee is you want to kind of check yourself and keep that left knee right over that left ankle. And then go ahead and look over your left shoulder. Next inhale, reach up, warrior one. Exhale, hands come to the mat. Just an optional vinyasa here. Or step back to your down dog. Just moving with your breath. And we'll all meet in down dog. Slight bend of the knees. Look up to your hands and take your feet forward to a forward fold. Make sure your feet are a good hip distance apart. We're just gonna hang here in our forward fold. You can reach the hands to the opposite elbows. You can create a little twist and a sway here if you'd like. You can shake your head yes, shake your head no. You want to make sure that you have this nice healthy amount of bend in the knees so that you have a hinge in the hips and that your chest is drawing towards your thighs. It's actually very bad on our back to have straight legs and arms hanging. So bend the knees enough that the chest comes down to the thighs. We don't want to hurt our backs. All right, and then let's come on up halfway. Hands to the top of the shins or the top of the thighs. Reach the crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold. And inhale, root to rise. We're coming all the way up. Palms reach overhead. There we go. And then we're going to take this left hand to the right hand and just take a nice side stretch. So part of these twists is getting enough room in the side body. So really get a nice deep side bend here. And inhale, come on up. You got it. Switch that grip and side bend to the other side. Inhale, come on up. And exhale, swan dive over. Inhale, come on up halfway. Lengthening the spine. Exhale, fold, bowing back over the legs. And inhale, root to rise. Come all the way up. Palms meet, exhale, hands to the heart space. So a little bit more of that side bending. Inhale, reach up. Left hand comes to the right, side bend. Inhale up, switch your grip. Exhale over. Inhale, reach up, swan dive over. Your next inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, root to rise. And all the way back up, palms meet overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart space. Just going to close our eyes here for a minute, maybe a little less than a minute, but just bring your awareness to your breath, how you're feeling, hopefully warming up just a bit. And then begin to bend the knees. We're coming into chair pose. So you want to be about the top edges of your mat in chair pose. Take a nice deep inhale and twist to your right. So see if you can get that left elbow just on the outside of this right knee. And just really twist open. You can make a fist with this right hand, press it into that bottom palm, and look up towards the ceiling so that your chin is moving towards your right shoulder. Knees are facing forward. Make sure that those hips aren't twisting on you. Now, very slowly, you can gaze down at this right foot just to keep yourself grounded, but you're going to step this left leg back and come into a twisted lunge. Look over that right shoulder. And then hands come on down to the mat. Flatten the palms to the mat. You're coming into a lunge. Step back, plank. Let's go ahead and lower chaturanga. And inhale, peel up to the choice of back bend that works for you this morning. Exhale, down dog. Lengthening the spine, rooting the hips back. Evening your breath out. Look up to your hands. Step your feet forward. Rise up halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees. Hips root down, coming back to chair pose. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare, and then twist to your left. So again, you want to really feel this twist from the navel through the shoulders. You can take this left hand, make a fist, press it to the palm on the right. Maybe just gaze down at that left foot. Step your right foot back. Try to stay in 2 track lines for your twisted lunge. Root through that back left heel. Hands come on down to the mat. You can pause here in your lunge. Make sure you're not propping on the thumbs. Step back plank. Move through your vinyasa. Peeling up, cobra or up dog. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Slight bend of the knees, lengthening the spine. Look up to your hands, step your feet forward. Rise up halfway. Exhale to bow. Inhale, let's root to rise, come all the way up to standing. Draw the navel to the spine, exhale, hands to the heart space. Again, maybe just a pause here, noticing the shift in the body temperature, heat that we have brought into the body using those core muscles. Alrighty. So we're going to move into that standing twist. And you have a couple of choices. You can grab your strap, or so I'm going to go through the 3 choices here. You can bring the knee up to your chest like this, and the opposite left hand to the right knee and twist open. Or you can bring the strap to the right foot. So this is a little bit more challenging, so that the strap is in the left hand and then twist open. And then your third choice would be to bring your peace fingers to the right big toe, lengthen the leg out, and then twist open. So any of these things can be done with the assistance of a wall. So you could kind of side stand next to the wall here for a little bit of stability. So go ahead and spend some time finding this twist with whichever option you want to try. Sometimes you want to try just the knee first, get your bearings. And then you can switch to the strap or your peace fingers to the big toe. And then go ahead and release all of that. And we're just going to take a little sun breath in between sides. So inhale, let's sweep those arms up overhead. And exhale, let the breath out, fold over. Inhale, come on up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, all the way back up. Big breath. Navel to the spine. Exhale, hands to the heart. So switching sides. Again, you can take any of those three versions. Sometimes just the knee up version is a good place to start. Even if you're working on the peace finger to the big toe. Notice that the knees and the hips stay facing forward. The twist is from the navel up through the shoulders. Lastly, the neck. Don't be afraid to use the wall. When you're finished, just go ahead and just pedal the legs out here for a moment. And let's step back with either the right or the left leg, but we want to come long onto our mat. So feet are parallel, and let's set our hands onto our hips. Take a nice deep inhale. Press the hips forward, squeeze the elbows towards each other. Maybe drop back for a little back bend. And then on your exhale, hinge forward. Draw those elbows towards each other. Extend through the crown of the head, forward fold. And then that right hand can set right below your face. If you need a block and you have one close by, you can set your hand on the block. And we'll go ahead and take another twist here. So lots of twists. Twists are great for detoxifying the body. Just like wringing out a washcloth. You can take this upper left hand, you can set the palm to that low back for just a little bit of low back support. Keep twisting open. And then bringing that left hand down to the block or the floor. Twist open the other direction. And the right hand can come down to the sacrum if you'd like. You really get a sense here that what's twisting is the spine. All those internal organs as well. And both hands come down to the floor or the block. Heel toe your feet in maybe just a few times, but leave the toes out to the side. And we're just going to drop the hips down to a nice slow yogi squat in Mulasana pose. And perhaps bring the hands up to the heart space. Nice. Good hip opener. Very good. All right, take the hands down to the floor, and we're just gonna kind of tilt our weight onto the hands. We're not gonna come into crow this morning, but go ahead and take the shins, the knees down to the mat. We're gonna sit back, heels to the hips for hero's pose. And in hero's pose, you want to just root down If you need that block in between the calves, you can set that block in between the calves. We're going to do one more twist. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And on your exhale, twist to your right. And inhale, reach up. And exhale, twist left. Perfect. And we're going to come on down to hands and knees. And we're going to do another ultimate passive twist here. So we're going to inhale, take that right arm up to the sky, take a twist here, and then exhale, thread that right hand underneath that left armpit, slowly lower down to the shoulder, rest your head. Just some options here. You can take the left leg back, reach that left arm up, and take a bind here if you'd like. And then carefully replace that left hand back to the mat. Untwist. Take that right arm back up. And set it back down to the mat. Switching sides. Inhale, the left arm reaches up. Exhale, thread it through. You can take whatever version of the pose feels comfortable to you. Make sure you check in with your neck before taking that right arm up. And replacing the right hand. If you took a bind, coming back to hands and knees. Perhaps just a little cat-cow here. Noticing how you feel. And then let's come on to a seated position, maybe towards the front edges of our mat. And we'll hug our knees to our chest and just slowly lower down to our backs. And here, maybe just resting for a moment. You can have your knees bent. You could twist it out. You can come to a happy baby if you'd like. You can just rest here. Maybe a little lighter than you were at the beginning of the practice after all those twists. Redistributing all the pumpkin pie, turkey. And since we didn't get a chance to do pigeon, and I know that's also a great stretch for the hips, you can take that right heel up towards the ceiling, cross the right ankle over that left knee. Let that right hip open up. Draw the left knee in towards your chest, interlace the fingers behind that left thigh. Upside down pigeon. Option to straighten that left leg. Walk your hands up. If you'd like to. And then slowly release, uncross the legs, and we'll switch sides. Left leg reaches up. Cross the left ankle over the right knee. Draw the right knee in towards your torso. You can interlace the hands behind the thigh. And right leg can reach up to the ceiling. Option, walk the hands up the calf, the ankles, the foot. Go ahead and release here. There's any additional pose that you'd like to take before Shavasana, we have probably about a half a yoga minute to take a bridge or shoulder stand, perhaps a wheel, maybe another set of twists. Winding our practice down. Make your way into Shavasana whenever you're ready. Wiggle your shoulder blades underneath your back. We'll spend just a little bit of time here in our Shavasana. So just letting go. Very slowly begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe make those movements a little bit bigger to ankles and wrists. And if you'd like, you can take a nice long stretch here. Maybe reach the arms overhead. Nice full breath. And on your own time, you can roll on to either your left or your right side. Pausing here. Maybe the eyes stay closed as you use that top hand to press up to a seated position. We'll bring our hands together at the heart space. Just holding the space with each other. Let's take a nice deep inhale and a nice slow exhale. Perhaps an open mouth exhale this next time. Full inhale. Full open mouth exhale. HA. The light in me honors that same light in each one of you. Namaste.